Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. It's Dr. Sherry here with another episode of Off the Couch. And today we are going to be, hey there, thanks for joining. Today we are going to be talking about how to get to where you want to go non-stop. And really what we're talking about is how to get what you want by saying what you mean, when you need to say it, and how you need to say it, so that the outcome that you desire is the one that you get, right? So I actually today, I've got a couple of friends with me, and I'm going to call them in here in just a second. But here's what I want you to think about. I want you to picture this. Let's say you have a destination. You're going on vacation, and maybe you're going to Hawaii if you're lucky. I've never been. It's one of the places to travel on my bucket list so far. So maybe you want to go to Hawaii, right? I don't know if you're like me, I just want to get there, right? I just want to make time, especially even if I'm driving anywhere. I always call it, I make time, right? I want to get from A to B with the shortest number of stops possible. I don't go onto Expedia or Orbitz, and oh, by the way, I don't advertise for any of these agencies. This is just an example for you. So I don't go onto a website to search for airfares that have the most number of layovers or stops in between my first and my last destination. I want to get there. I want to get there nonstop. Hey, Andrew, thanks for joining. So that's the same thing when we're thinking about communication. If there is a result that we want or an outcome that we want, we have got to take the shortest distance, the shortest route, the fastest route possible to get there so that we can be sure to get the outcome that we want. And so in that light, today is not just Off the Couch with Dr. Sherry, but it's Off the Couch with Dr. Sherry and friends. So I'm going to invite in a couple of my colleagues that are brainstorming with me today. I've got Crystal Smith here on my right, my left, I don't know, I'm in reverse. Thank you for joining us here today, Crystal.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I've got Jay Foreman. Jay, come on over here. Thank you for joining us, Jay.
Thank you.
All right. So, hey, I've got a question for the two of you. I know that you have examples, and I'm going to share a couple of examples myself, but what are some instances that you can think about with communication where there's an outcome that you want, there's an outcome that you need, and there's really one route to get there? So can you share with our listeners and viewers some examples?
So one that comes to mind is that I ran into an old banking client at a networking event. And I said, oh my gosh, so great to see you. We need to catch up. And she said, yeah, we do. So as soon as we leave, I did what people do, right? I sent her a message. I was like, hey, let's grab coffee or lunch. And she said, oh, I'm busy on Fridays. I said, well, there's, 6 other days of the week.
Right.
And again, she said, I'm really busy on these days. And I said, well, okay, how about a Tuesday? And she said, I'll be honest with you, I'm not interested in coaching. I've had several people approach me and, we have a great business, but, we love it more of a hobby.
Yeah.
I appreciate your offer, but not interested in coaching. And so twofold. One, loved it. Loved her directness, right? Thank you, but no thank you. Just be clear.
Right.
Don't plan 20 different stops. What do you want the outcome to be? You want me to know that you don't want coaching.
That's right.
And my intention wasn't coaching. I just wanted to catch up with her and find out how her kids were doing, their parents were doing, and love on her. And so I was very clear when I replied, and I said, well, that works out great because I'm not looking for coaching clients.
Right.
Perfect. I just love to catch up and grab some lunch with you. And so that's what we did. But she was direct and honest and said, hey, if you're looking for a new client, it's not me.
Right. That's an excellent example. And I think about that relates to a lot of people, especially when we're talking about sales. Mm-hmm. When we experience or even just anticipate in the slightest degree that somebody's trying to sell something to us, we kind of have a tendency, most of us, unless you're Crystal or Jay, because they're just like, bull in a china shop with that stuff. They'll tell you nonstop what they need and what they don't need. But most people kind of run for the hills when it comes to salespeople. Think about if you go to buy a car, right? You go onto the car lot and you see a salesperson. What do most people do? They start like ducking and dive in behind cars. Oh, don't come talk to me, right? Oh, he's going to try to sell me something, right? What is wrong? What is wrong with just saying, hey, thanks so much. Tell me about this car. I'm not even buying today. How about that? You don't need to run and hide, or you can say, I'm thinking about buying, but I'm not committing to anything. And I need you to tell me about this vehicle, right? Another example that actually I think Crystal brought up to me the other day, and then Jay's going to share a story with us. But in a grocery store, we were actually talking about when you're in a grocery store, and you know how you've got your cart and you're moving along, and usually when you're going up and down the aisles, there's people in front of you, right? Okay, so if you're behind them and they're in front of you, they kind of don't know that you're there, right? They don't know that you're behind them.
Right.
So I see this. I see some people like just standing there. Again, taking lots of layovers. Why don't they just say, excuse me, can I get around? That's being direct. And that's like something very, very simple that you can practice in your everyday life. Just speak up, be heard, get there, get to your destination. How about you, Jay?
Yeah, I love this topic because it's very relevant, and especially in today's age, it's so easy to be ambiguous with communication.
Yes.
The story I wanted to share is I did not have permission. This is for my daughter. I'm going to tell a story about her. She's a senior in high school, and students can add and drop classes as the semester goes on. Okay. My daughter decided she wanted to drop a certain class, and it's as easy as just going now, hitting the button, and signing up for another class.
Yeah.
So we talked, and I told her, okay, that's fine if you want to drop this class. She had decent reasons. I said, that's fine, but you're not just going to hit a button. I want you to go tell your teacher why you're dropping this class.
Yes, right.
And I knew something was off because first she said, oh, no problem.
No problem.
You can go. She was like, teacher.
Right.
And I was like, no. I said, actually, I want you to go meet with the teacher, schedule time, face to face, and explain why you're doing this.
Yes.
And she did, and they had a great conversation. She still ended up dropping the class, but with the teacher's blessings. And the teacher, and we're all human, right? The teacher doesn't have any hard feelings. It's not something that I did. She was a great teacher. It was just one of these situations where once it was explained, both sides talked it through, it made the most sense, and everyone walked away happy. Right. It's just that kind of clear, concise. I'm still old school. I like the face-to-face communication, nothing lost in translation. Right. But it's just taking that first step to do that.
Absolutely. And having relationships, right? Mm-hmm. When you're direct with people, you have the opportunity to develop a relationship that may be so mutually beneficial that you would have never otherwise realized because you were too busy avoiding your destination, right? Or avoiding, I would say, what you fear would be the pit stops going towards your destination, right? Like even look at Facebook. When we make a Facebook event, we have options. Facebook, this is for you. You need to delete some of these options. Maybe is not an option, okay? Like going, option. Right. Not going, perfect, right? Direct, right? You're getting there. Not interested. Now, then we've got these other options. Maybe I'll go. Oh, there's an opportunity, Facebook, for people to be indecisive, for people to stop on a layover on their journey. And we want people to be direct. That's how we have these quality relationships. That's how we show our authenticity. That's how people know us for what we want and what we don't want. Because guess what? Nobody knows that but you, and it's up to you to tell them, right? Yeah. So if you, the next time, here's a little tip for you. The next time you go to look at an event, if you're interested in it, I wonder what you're interested in. Are you interested in learning more about it? Or are you just politely thinking that you're being polite and you're saying that you're interested? My guess is, and I don't know about you guys, but if you've made a Facebook event, I want people to be more than just interested. If they're interested, I want them to reach out to me personally and say, hey, I've got a question about your event, right? Can you tell me more about this? Not just to click a button on Facebook that says interested. Again, direct, get to the destination, right? Don't beat around the bush. That is never going to make you successful in life. Just like breaking up, this is probably beyond millennials, Gen Zers, don't break up with somebody over text message, okay? That's like the biggest layover you could ever take. That's a little gift to you today, my friends. So do you guys have any other examples? We're going to keep this a little bit short. Lucas Hamper, thanks for joining us today. We're just talking about being direct and taking nonstop flights to getting to where we want to go and getting the results that we want. You guys have anything else you wanted to add today before we sign off?
I got a couple of things.
Yeah.
You hit on should be less options on Facebook. Yeah. I've looked at it. I've created Facebook events before. I respond to them. The I'm interested tab is just a polite way of saying I'm not coming.
Correct.
Right. That's what
it's not even polite. Right. Because then you don't get to plan.
Well, why don't you just say I'm not coming?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
want those sales. We don't want people to think, oh gosh, I'm not interested and I'm not coming. Right. But that's what we want. Just like when that person said, I'm not interested in coaching. I loved it. Right. And if the bottom line is for you to get your destination, to get what you want, all these stops in between, all the I'm interested, or I'm busy on Fridays, or gosh, I would love to, but just, if you wouldn't love to, that's okay.
So we've got a comment here. It says, I use the interested button when I'm not sure. I'm going to challenge you, Amber. When I'm not sure, I'll be available, and so that Facebook reminds me about it later when I will know better what my time is like. Okay, so you're the chief captain of your time, right, Amber? That's right. Nobody else. And so if it's a priority for you, you're going to look at your schedule right then and there, and you're going to say, you know what, let me go look, and I want to see if I can add this. And I know everybody does it differently. I'm not calling you out. I'm just making a gentle reminder to you that you are in charge of your time. And if you type interested, or choose interested rather, as opposed to going or not going, you're less likely to actually take action to do anything with that later, right? So when we make a commitment, when we're direct with something, we're more likely to either change it later or actually do that thing later, right? As opposed to kind of letting it float out in the ether. So
yeah, you made a good point earlier about a layover on the way to a trip, right? It's about getting to your destination.
Right.
That interested button, and I know we spend a lot of time on the interested button. Yeah. It's a great example. It's your layover. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to pause for a minute. Maybe I'll think about it.
Right.
But like Sherry said, if it's important enough to you, trust me, there are meetings that you make because they're important enough to you. If you find enough value, you'll be there. Yeah. And otherwise, you won't find enough value and you won't. So that interested button, that layover can go away, and you can say, I love the subject, I'm going to be there, committed, done. Or, you know what, I have something else on my schedule for that day, and that takes higher priority, and that's okay too. Or, you know what, I'm going to do laundry that day.
Yeah.
We're okay with that too.
Right. I actually asked somebody one time if they could do something with me. And they said, no, I can't. And I said, okay. And I didn't ask why. And I didn't ask why because that's kind of like a social norm, what we do. We always want a reason. Hey, guess what? We're not deserving of a reason, and nobody has to give us a reason, and you don't have to give anybody a reason, right? You can just say, no, I'm not going. I know it seems a little uncomfortable because you're supposed to have an excuse after that, right? But I give you permission. I'm sure Crystal and Jay, you give the viewers permission, right? Just say, I'm not going. You don't need to say why. And you don't need to say maybe. Make a decision, go forward, get to your destination on time. We're going to keep this short today. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you all so much for joining us on Off the Couch with Dr. Sherry.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
That's
and
fun.
In today's case, Off the Couch with Dr. Sherry and friends, Jay and Crystal, thank you for joining me. Again, check me out next Tuesday, 12:30, live every Tuesday. We'll see you the next time on Off the Couch with Dr. Sherry, where I'm shifting perspectives and speaking life.